Well, it ain't romantic, but it's something we needed to do. Look who I found transferring water.
Yeah, the tank is empty.
Busy day in the greenhouse today. Lots going on. You can see all the seedlings that are in here. These are the ones that were too big to move the other day. If we had been really convinced that it was going to freeze solid, we probably would have tried. But we were really concerned we'd break them in the process. So what we did instead was we took all the smaller ones, things that are like down in here, yeah, down in there, and we took the really irreplaceable ones and took them into the house. What we're doing today is Henry's filling up the water barrels. Some of it came out of the storage tank, but the storage tank is now empty. So now he's pulling water out of the IBC tote. The IBC tote that we have at the end of the greenhouse is 375 gallons. So that'll give us a little space. Henry's working on topping up the hydroponics system here. I have plans to go in to all of the buckets that are currently hooked up. Once everything is really going, we'll probably add some more. I have some other ones we can choose to put in there. Meanwhile, I am going to take out some of the small plants in here that I feel comfortable setting out into the garden and just plain get them out of here because they don't need to be here anymore. We have one more night that is supposed to be 40 tonight. One of the problems here is a lot of times 40 actually turns into much colder. Jack is busy sniffing around this morning. We found a toad in here the other day, and I know we have lizards, and that's what we assumed he was excited about all the time lately, but I think he may have been excited about some of the toad smells too. We captured the toad briefly the other day when we were moving plants so that we didn't step on him accidentally, but he managed to get out of his pot overnight, which is fine, except I don't want to step on him accidentally because they do eat a lot of bugs. There's these sunflowers. There's a leaf down there, and there's another one over here. Now, no major damage to the sunflowers, but I'm not amused because, you know, next they could have decided to chew through a stem instead. These guys really need to go out, but it's going to be several more days before we can afford to put them out because of the cold temperatures. Now, but I have a little tomato. These are Incas. And Ravello was the first ones to bloom. Incas have been the second. I found that interesting because we are growing some Alaskan, can't think of the last name, but Alaskan something or other, because they are a very short season, supposedly. But they actually have not been the first to bloom. Ravello was by far the first to bloom. I was very impressed. Surprised, but impressed. I mean, it's a short season, but it wasn't supposed to be the shortest season. But you can never be certain what makes a plant happy, I guess. As you can see, we have quite a few flowers. So we are very happy with that. I have pruned some of these, but not all of them. I figured I would wait until I actually was setting them in. And that gave me some options in case of breakage. On the center leader, I would have the option to choose a side leader. And that's something you can do with indeterminate plants, is you can decide to switch leaders if you have issues with your primary leader. So now it's time to pick. Let's see, these are all sunflowers, so they're going out today. This is a sunflower, but these are all cantaloupes, no. So I'm going to pull all of the sunflowers. I could probably pull a dozen plants out of here, counting. There's a couple of pots of beets back there, and Swiss chard, and a pak choi that don't need to be in here at all. They were just plopped in there. It's sort of an emergency situation. So, time to get these babies out into the garden and make them a lot happier. Okay, here we are. He says afraid she's gonna get in trouble for sitting in the garden. You can sit in the garden, sweetie. You weren't sitting on a plant. Anyway, so I have my seedlings here. These are mostly sunflowers with a pak choi and a couple of other odd bits. So my goal is to get these sunflowers planted along the house, because from experience I know they'll probably survive there, whereas they may not survive out in the breeze somewhere. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that. And Isa is now in the in the rhubarb. I can barely see her. I don't know if you can see her or not. She's literally in the rhubarb with sticking her head out. That's funny. It's great to be a cat. Let's get a couple of these big boys in over here. But you too can be a giant sunflower. All right, there. That's 2. I don't know how many to go. I haven't counted them yet. I still have a couple in the greenhouse. All right. All right, let's see. Let's get these put in over here. Going to have some weeds popping up in here. Unfortunately, I don't have any clue as to what they are and whether they're flowers, because they're still at that hi, I'm just popping up phase where you really can't tell what they are. Kohlrabies, which are these guys here, will be harvested in the next, probably the next month and a half or less. So they'll be out of the way. But I really want to have some cool sunflowers in the background up against the wall. There we go. Smush. We have both pink and blue bachelor buttons right now, which is way cool. And then we have these 3 little guys back along the wall that I planted. I'm gonna put a whole row. This is kind of tight here. I'm concerned about messing up anything. But over here, I have the whole area behind the rhubarb, so why not? no room with these pak choys. So I put this other little pak choi that I have right there, in front of the broccoli, because he'll only be there for maybe a month. And hopefully by that time, you know, the broccoli will be getting big, so that'll be cool. Whew. This is normally Isa's chair, I should tell you that, by the way. We call this her throne because she will spend hours sitting right where my tush is, just watching the whole yard. She'll take naps, she'll take baths, and she'll just watch everything. Not a bad deal if you can get it, I guess. Well, that solves my sunflower project problem this morning. So I hope this inspires you to come up with creative solutions. I had planted sunflowers last year as seeds, dirty hands, and I'm not sure whether they didn't come up or if they got eaten immediately when they came up, because I saw no sign of them particularly. It could have been either. The jays sometimes will come in and pull out sunflower seeds once they've started to sprout. They think they're awesome, tasty things. The mice sure think they're awesome and tasty. So I decided this year I was really determined to have some sunflowers, and I'm going to probably plant some more, but I figured that having them at least as small seedlings when I put them out would give them a much better chance. It made sure that they had enough moisture to germinate correctly. And sometimes when you live in a difficult climate like ours where moisture is a real problem, that's something you just have to do. You wind up starting things that most other places I would just seed randomly and they would pop up. So hopefully this inspires you. Plant yourself a sunflower. These are actually not even sold as sunflowers as in terms of flowers. These were sold as microgreen seeds. So these are for black oil sunflowers. I have a bunch of plants out now, so that's a good start. And the greenhouse is, I won't say empty because it's not even sort of, but it's at least a little less crowded. We have everything that's super tender, like tomatoes and peppers and stuff like that, either in the house or in the greenhouse right now. The really big plants are in the greenhouse. We were afraid we'd break them. The peppers I just plain moved into the house because they really don't like it to be particularly cold. They're much more susceptible to damage than... I've got a really pretty butterfly here zooming around the yard. Hi butterfly, come see me. She says, you don't have any flowers over there. We're starting to see some butterflies, better than last year. We saw almost no butterflies at all until midsummer last year. We had a very weird year in terms of bugs last year, good and bad. Anyway, I hope this inspires you. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And come see us again because I got a whole greenhouse full of plants. We've got straw bale gardens we're going to be putting in. Henry's working on his hydroponics right now. Just all kinds of stuff. So come back and see what we're doing. And until then, be safe. Have a great week. Bye.